Hello, kids. Don't go to sleep tonight. Well, we're not completely at Halloween yet, but let's just say that your dreams may be haunted for this occasion.
No.
Because in 1984, an interesting director called Wes Craven had an idea. What if we make a movie, a horror movie, where you are more in danger in the place where you're more vulnerable, your sleep, and we have a hunter, a killer, specifically devoted to try to kill a bunch of young teenagers in that setting. Thus, the franchise of A Nightmare on Elm Street started. Of course, written and directed by Wes Craven, at least the first couple of ones. Let's just say that it became a bit of a train as you move on. Scored by Charles Bernstein, and with a very humble budget for the first one of 1.8 million, which grossed to 25.5 million, which for the time, mind you, it was really high and launched the whole slasher, genre of horror movies. But of course, we're here just for the first one. So for the time being, start before the New Line Cinema logo starts flashing and causing you a seizure. All right, 3, 2, 1, click.
Yeah, we should warn people in case of,
Not for epileptic people.
Which of you have seen this movie already?
I have heard about this movie constantly, and I've seen stuff based on it, but I've never seen this one itself.
I've seen memes.
I saw this one on VHS. Well, that's the thing too. Back when I was a kid, I went to see. Back when I was a horny 12-year-old, as you usually like to say too, I used to go to slasher movies on theaters all the time because usually they would show boobs. So
of course
they still do to this day.
So yeah, our protagonist villain, Frederick Krueger, as similar to a lot, introduces a concept used for a lot of slasher movie villain, a signature weapon. In this case, a glove that has crafted on it Wolverine-style claws. And boom! Yes. Immediately, the title with the score in these movies is amazingly haunting.
Congratulations, Freddy! Now you're playing with power.
That's for a later movie.
I know.
In case you don't know, the Freddy Krueger is played by Robert Englund, and this was basically his signature role.
So is he an English actor?
No, he's
American.
His last name's England.
Yes, but and this kind of came to almost bite him in the ass later on because of the popularity.
Johnny Depp.
Yep, that's right.
Yes,
this was Johnny Depp's first movie.
Really?
Yep, this is where Johnny started out.
But the point where Wes Craven, let's just say
Fleischer as well. Interesting.
Let's just say that without jumping too much on the gun, the franchise of this particular movie series grew so much that Wes Craven sort of had a crisis. He thought that he unleashed a beast out of control, so he tried to do two things. First, he did a meta movie about the series called Wes Craven's New Nightmare, which I really enjoy for how explores the angle of reality and not. And then started his own next series, trying to satirize the slasher movie Scream, which unfortunately produced the opposite effect. But we're not here for this today.
It's a shame because the first Scream movie was actually pretty good.
The problem, Joe, is that the people got the wrong message from it.
And you know what happened? It ended up inspiring stuff like the Fletcher Boys.
Yeah, the scary movies.
The scary movies, the date movies, the epic movie, disaster movie, vampires suck.
Oh no.
Yeah.
The parody genre, basically.
Which, don't get me wrong, it had a lot of good ideas, but again, gave us disaster movie, which is considered number 1 on the bottom 100 on IMDb's list. The bottom 100 on IMDb's list is a place you do not want to go unless you absolutely know you want a bad time.
The one in particular that I still really like to this day is Not Another Teen Movie, which was basically a spoof of She's All That.
Oh, is that the one with Rachel Leigh Cook that you mentioned?
Yes.
And also the one with Elise's voice actress.
I think
Hello.
Rachel Lee Cook was in She's All That.
Well, actually, yeah, never mind. Well, were you asking me about She's All That or not another teen movie too?
Not another teenage movie.
No, it had Elise's voice actress. Yes.
Oh, okay, my bad. Anyway, this is our protagonist, Nancy Thompson, played by Heather Langenkamp.
Is that Charles Fleischer? I can't tell. For those who don't know, Charles Fleischer went on to be the voice of Roger Rabbit in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Interesting.
Oh, actually, no, this is Teen, I think. It's been a while since I saw the movie.
No, I was talking about the husband though. I don't know who he plays in. I don't remember who he plays in this movie.
Fun fact.
Oh, no, this is Tina Gray. My bad. This is played by Amanda Wyss. And this is one of the catchphrases of the movie. A sort of theme song.
Sorry.
A sort of theme song that Freddy uses to announce his presence. Now, the trick thing about this movie series is to understand what is reality and what it's not. The movies and other associated products cleverly use a technique of editing where you're not really sure if it's a dream or actually reality until it's too late. And you're like, oh shit. It's everywhere, basically. So I'm the bully.
Wait, you say up yours?
The 80s. Back when bullies always had black coats. Because, that indicates that he's the bully.
Well, not always, Pedro. In fact, sometimes having a leather black jacket showed a sense of honor with the greases.
Because you're cool, and you're cool with that.
Yeah, we were the cool kids, y'all. Anyway, that was until like the late 80s.
I'm sure he doesn't listen to you.
Where's my copy had subtitles?
Okay.
Good talk.
That was a thing.
I had a nightmare, therefore there's going to be an earthquake. Good job.
You're comparing yourself to an animal.
I think there's a missing link in your logic chain, honey.
Okay, who's he ringing? The pizza group or? So he's a pirate?
It's funny you mentioned that. If I recall correctly, this is Glenn. Basically,
is Johnny Depp or is that another character?
Glenn was played by an unknown actor at the time by the name of Johnny Depp.
Yeah, this is Johnny Depp.
I don't. Again, it's been a while since I saw the movie properly, so.
That's the thing. Though Johnny Depp, when he was a teenager, he looked vastly different than he looks now. Like to the point where you wouldn't even be able to tell it's the same person.
As you can see, these teenagers are pretty crafty in handling things Home Alone style in order to have their escapades.
I didn't see Joe Pesci anywhere though. So.
Can you imagine Joe Pesci's versus Freddy Krueger?
I'd watch that.
I'll fucking break your knees!
And then he wakes up. This is one of those horror franchises I've heard of where there's one good installment, the first one, then it kind of meanders, then there's another good installment, and it kind of meanders again.
Yeah. Basically, Dweebs, this has set mostly for establishing things out. So you're not gonna see most of Freddy Krueger's more humorous, quote-unquote, side, because that's usually reserved for the sequels.
I wouldn't be surprised. This whole thing about there being a nightmare where dangerous nightmares and people are talking about them during the day. I wouldn't be surprised if Katsuhashi took the inspiration from this when writing Catherine.
It's possible. It has already a reference to a bunch of other movies, so why not?
I mean, this is a very popular movie, as I understand it.
Technically, Catherine is a horror story too, so it would make sense.
No. But what I mean is that similar to a Metal Gear game, it also contains a reference to some other movies here and there. So why not adding another one to the pile?
You know, guys, going outside's probably not.
At least we're not splitting.
I mean, might as well check it out together.
One step forward, two steps back.
Oh, now we're...
Oh, no, never mind. They're going right the way back there.
Send the boy out first, though. I mean, they're the tough, strong ones.
Yeah, remember this.
That's going to be amazing.
I'll have you know that I've wrestled with Davy Jones on the high seven seas.
Wait, that's Johnny Depp?
Yes, that's Johnny Depp.
Bless him.
Look at him, such a sweet summer child. Booga booga booga!
Get it? He's the jock. He plays sports.
But he's also our main protagonist's love interest, isn't he?
Right.
Such a charming fellow.
All right. One more tick box in my 80s bingo. There you go. Let's see.
So this is Rod Wayne, Tina's boyfriend. He's played by Nick Curry.
Let me check what else he did. I think I heard him.
Someone say Tim Curry.
No, Nick Curry.
Oh, alright, okay.
His real name is actually Zu Garcia. Actually, Nick Curry is actually a pseudonym.
Huh.
And this was actually his second role.
Yes, I've got stuff to discuss with Tina with my rod.
Yes, very good, Rob. That's just as original as the last one you gave. I mean, we could always do a double wise. Woo!
Well, that's
young.
That's something that you never seen in a slasher movie. Horny teenagers having sex.
Well, you know what they say when the call of the wild comes.
Didn't Halloween do this though?
Or Friday the 13th. So
a lot, like Theo said.
It's a staple cliche now.
This movie pioneered most of the cliches.
Remember, Dibs, this is how a lot of people got to see porn.
This is one of the major leitmotifs of the series, and I absolutely love it.
This one in particular doesn't have anything like that.
No. I wasn't talking about this movie I wasn't talking about this movie itself. I was talking more so about how the horror genre for a long time was a way for people to see porn without actually paying to see... paying to get actual porn.
Don't you just hate it when your friends are having sex and you can't sleep? But like I said, I really love the score of this series. It has that eerie vibe of the 80s that you don't hear that much. When you think of 80s music that everyone likes is like the more disco style. This one instead is the more eerie. Remember, this was still a time where there was all the experimentation with electronics and stuff like that. It was like think of it something like Pink Floyd, for example.
Jungle Man fixed Jane. I think you mean Tarzan in that joke.
Sorry. Remember, Pedro. Remember, the Tarzan name was heavily copyrighted by that point.
That is true. Yeah.
I love that.
It only became public domain, like this year, actually.
I love that joke where Glenn's listening to them having sex and he says, "Morality sucks."
Crucifix. Oh, it's symbolic.
God is not pleased with you. Oh wait, sorry, you're the wrong one. Sorry.
In this case, it's more like God is tired of her shit and he's just not gonna bother them. Because Freddy pretty much has, free roaming with these kids.
If you don't do my bidding, I will throw my crucifix at you.
But yeah, he's not called Freddy Krueger. He's just Fred Krueger.
He doesn't want to be known as Freddy Krueger because it's bad for business. Fred is much scarier than Freddy.
Hell, business will get so bad that he'll enlist the help of Jason Voorhees.
Hi, my name is Fred.
How the hell is Rod lying down? What is that bump that I can see from on his side?
His shoulder. It's on the side.
That is a really large shoulder. Jesus. Yeah.
Oh, he's a pretty big guy.
Because he plays football. But no, Peter, it's like in Metal Gear Rising. Play college ball,
Yeah, that thing. Basically, Jova, This one in particular not so much, but a lot of shitty low-budget horror films. Usually, when they have scenes of women getting off their bed, and you briefly see their boobs before they put on their pajama.
Yeah,
Precisely.
specials. Ominous. And here we go, one of the more infamous introduction scenes for Freddy.
Personally, I prefer the bathtub scene.
Yeah.
Of course, there's like a bathroom scene in a horror movie.
This particular effect was obviously being used by having a rubber wall, but thanks to the lightning, it looks very authentic.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, the remake used that terrible CGI, which...
You know, it's sad that a movie made on $1.8 million looks way better than a movie made on $5 million.
Apparently they got the name Fred Krueger because that was the name of a boy who Wes Craven was bullied by as a kid.
Huh.
Jova, we told you, most of that money was spent on lunch.
I thought you said it was also a trip to the limousine, or a trip in the limousine, or maybe it's
No, that's
of
from
both.
the director of... I forgot the name.
I think the joke you're looking for, Jova, is they took a limousine every time they went to the bathroom.
Initially, one actor they had in mind to play Freddy was Robin Williams, of all people.
Can you even imagine that?
You know, okay, to be fair,
sorry.
the idea of comedians at the time playing more horrific roles, I could see that happening, and I think this was before Robin Williams was, you know...
I remember there was one distinct movie where Robin Williams was actually playing the bad guy, and not like voice acting, like physically acting.
That was Insomnia. That was Insomnia. It was the movie that Christopher Nolan made after Memento, but before Batman Begins.
I don't know much about it aside from what I just said, so I don't know the quality of it.
I recall
it's actually very
about
good.
it.
Wouldn't expect Robin Williams to be in a Christopher Nolan movie, but there you are.
And there we go. This is also our confirmation. Well, we don't know that yet, but now we have our confirmation that this is a dream, of course. And since Freddy is basically a master of the dreams, he can do pretty much whatever the fuck he wants.
Oh boy. You want to know how I got these scars?
And they weren't going to have just a stunt guy play Freddy.
I think he has more. I think the least prevalent thing in is the scars. It's just the burn marks, more like.
Well, burn marks are a form of scarring.
Yeah,
I guess. For those who don't know, that joke was coined by Roger Ebert.
Oops.
Oh no, the blood! It's totally not a nozzle, but the blood!
There's also the thing that this also is good for establishing. Oh, jeez. But while Freddy has immense power, even in the dream world, he's not completely invulnerable. And that's gonna, play a bigger part both for this movie and the sequels.
Wake her up, idiot.
About that.
Help her?
Get an exorcist?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure I can help it when she starts bleeding like that.
And there you go. If you die in the dream, you die IRL.
So it's like the Matrix.
Well.
Oh, what a shock. The girl who has sex with a guy ends up dying.
So the moral of the story is don't have sex.
That tends to be the sort of God-given moral with a lot of these horror movies, you'd think.
The moral is, don't have sex. Sure, humanity will go extinct if you do that eventually.
Again, great usage of practical effects in a different way.
Mm-hmm. I think it's more so the fact that, remember, these two are kind of the dickhead couple of the two. So
not just that, you may have seen that Freddy was trying to target Nancy first, but she had the crucifix, so he changed target to the other girl.
Wow, this won't look good. Girl wakes up dead next to you in bed. Well, not exactly in bed now, but...
And now the boyfriend gets accused. Should be fun.
He's always the boyfriend.
Yeah, because he has no sharp objects on him, but
It wasn't me. She totally started bleeding out of nowhere and started floating around. I swear.
Yeah, in hindsight, that doesn't exactly make you sound the most sane.
Anyway, to answer, sorry.
It's like, freak, you'll go to prison.
To quickly answer your question, Wibbs, Insomnia is the only movie that he didn't write. He only directed.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, good question.
Well, I think you might have had an uncredited rewrite here and there. Like
Not that I've seen. Feel free to look it up.
What do you think?
One of her friends just died.
Yeah, it's like one of those newscasters that go to survivors of like disasters. Like, how do you feel in this very moment?
Like, how the fuck do you think I feel?
I survived a mass exodus.
Also, this this girl has like one of the prototypical brunette girl 80s hairstyles.
Yeah. I'm not sure what I should do with my hair today style.
Yeah, this is the thing about the 80s, everybody. Back in the 80s, hairstyles were, how should I put this? They haven't aged the
diversified.
best.
I don't know. I like mullets.
Oh, no, it's not. It's not just the mullets, Shiro. Trust me, I could show you some 80s hairstyles that are quite out there.
Honestly,
I only need to look at footballers.
I haven't seen them. I haven't seen anyone have a mullet on TV since Funhouse.
Moving on.
In today's news story, someone squirted red ink all over someone and they died.
Well, at least it wasn't chocolate syrup like in Psycho. What is this school you speak of?
A kid who insists on going to school while the parent insists they don't go to school.
Surely you jesting.
Yeah, because it's clearly a believable teenager. I totally believe this.
Okay, to be fair, there were some of those more responsible teenagers, but how surreal still.
More like she's desperate. You can see from her tone and her face that she's desperately trying to find something to distract her.
Okay, this is one thing that I was always jealous of when I was in school. Most Americans don't have to wear school uniforms.
Oh yeah,
those uniforms were horrible, scratchy things.
Actually, no. Taylor has a point. This was not. Oh, hello.
Government agents? Is that you?
But yeah, Taylor has a point because this was 1984, which means technically the video game industry was dead in America at this point, so she couldn't just stay around playing a Nintendo. So.
Well, look who's here.
I'm not gonna hurt you, which is why I've just dragged you here with force.
Am I the one who notices that Rod looks like a younger version of Michael Jackson if he had started out white?
I know, my God, you're right.
Yeah.
Not just that, the scene feels like this. Sure, you may notice this one, because I know you watched it too. It reminds me a lot of like the second act of a Murder She Wrote episode, where you have the guy who gets suspected, but is to run away from the police, but you know he's not the killer.
Yeah.
Okay, so now she's going to be arrested for obstructing the police.
All right, Dweebs, how many stars are we? How many stars are we on, Dweebs? 2? Yeah.
Well, it's not that black and white. I mean, you don't get arrested just by saying no to a policeman, like right on the spot. It has to be a bit more severe than
Isn't that interruption to public officials or something?
If she genuinely, harmed what they're doing right now, then yeah, definitely. But all she did was say no. I mean,
if she can, like around here at least, if she had continued to do that, regardless of whether she used any physical force or not, yeah, she would be charged with obstruction.
Oh, isn't that more like there's disrespecting the authority rather than disrupting?
The cherry orchard.
I'm not entirely sure.
I mean, it still boils down to the same thing. To thing is
Yeah,
you
yeah.
being accused of something, but it's just a difference in technical terms. And of course, there's the generic nerd right there in front of her. Of course,
You can tell it because he has glasses.
exactly. So another tick box on the 80s bingo.
Okay, what have you written for your homework assignment? You wrote Freddy was here 600 times. You do know this homework assignment was on children's books, right?
So I'm sorry, this lesson is so boring. It just makes me go sleeping.
Yeah. This is totally
don't do that.
Yeah. This is totally distracting you from the problems, isn't it?
I guess she didn't realize how tired she was.
You could have gone to the movies or something.
Charming.
Come play with me now. Oh, sorry. Wrong movie.
Wrong franchise. By the way, you can't hear the movie coming through my...
No.
Right, good.
We'll let you know if we do.
Okay.
Again, as you can see,
it's a double-edged sword.
you were talking about differences, references in later games, in other games, Pedro. I'm honestly convinced that the transition between the Rover world and the Dream world is one of the things, and there's the movie in general, that also inspired the Silent Hill franchise.
You mean the transition in the...
Yeah, the idea that your transition between what you perceive as real world instead of a more, dreamlike one that is a more intense, gory, violent, rusty like that. May have been inspired by this. I know there was another movie that was the more huge inspiration from Silent Hill, but I forgot which one it is.
No, don't you see?
I think it's Jacob's Ladder.
This.
So yeah, Freddy, like I said, even if he's gonna be more apparent in the next movie, Freddy does have a sense of humor.
Yeah.
I love how this actress only has one facial expression. It's actually very similar to Kristen Stewart's one facial expression. Actually, like the semi-pouty, semi-grumbled expression.
No students allowed.
Wink, wink.
Wait, no students allowed? But I thought this was a school.
Fuck the police. Well, maybe it's the janitor's closet or something.
No
True.
fun allowed. No swimming.
There are quite a few.
Also, I have another. If it wasn't mentioned,
Yes.
To be putting the sign up here.
Yeah, sure.
if it wasn't mentioned already while I was burped, there's another thing you can check off as well: sweater vests.
Yeah, sweater vest. Yes. Thank you.
These look familiar.
Very familiar.
It's the sequence that wasn't in the dream at the beginning.
That is true. Okay, Teo, I get you because of the transition, but let's face it. The best dream transition is the one from this movie's video game.
Let's just say that the Nightmare on Elm Street video games, or maybe there was, even if there was multiple, I know only the one that the Evangelion covered. Let's just say that the video game is not that great. Ew.
Ooh, that's lovely.
Let's just say probably the best that Freddy got was being a guest in Mortal Kombat 9 and having I think he got a dedicated DLC for Dead by Daylight.
Basically, Shiroi, Freddy is actually related to Oogie Boogie. So.
Ah, okay.
I gotta say though, Robert Englund had a pretty impressive longevity in the role. His last appearance was in 2003 in Freddy vs. Jason.
Yeah, Freddy vs. Jason was his last appearance as the character.
You see, kids, don't fall asleep in school or else you'll die.
Funnily enough, Dweebs, they use, I think, recycled lines for him for his appearance in Mortal Kombat 9, but he did voice the character of the Dr. Crane, Scarecrow, in Injustice 2.
Huh.
I guess it fits, but it's interesting as a casting role.
So they could get him for that, but not for 9?
It's funny because when you get down to it,
That's the
in
thing.
the art,
Freddy doesn't have that. Remember, Mortal Kombat 9 doesn't have elaborated intros and anything, so Freddy doesn't speak that much.
That is true, I guess, yeah.
To be fair, though, we couldn't get Schwarzenegger as the Terminator for the DLC of Gizmo. So.
shame. Although it's a pretty good sound alike, but still.
Well, being a sound alike for Arnie isn't one of the.
Arnie reported said that Arnie picked himself the sound alike. So
Ah,
It's
that
like
explains it.
how Al Pacino picked his own sound alike in
Yeah.
Scarface: The World Is Yours.
my country got the best of it because we got the actual official voice actor that does almost every single Arnie movie role, which also voiced, for example, Thanos. So he beats. But I'm digressing.
But anyway, going back
Poor
to what I was
Nancy,
saying.
Poor Nancy has got herself a scar because remember, if you get damaged in the dream world, you get damaged in real life.
So, it's funny you mentioned Scarecrow and Freddy Krueger, Tio, because, starting with the Arkham series, they kind of made Scarecrow a lot like Freddy Krueger, right
Pretty
down
much.
to the needle fingers.
It got to the point, Jova, that basically for the Italian voice actors in Injustice, every single Batman character that was in the Arkham games got the voice actors they had there because it made so much sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, because even now Nancy herself experienced the Fredster, she may be more inclined to believe his story.
But how will she be able to prove Rod's innocence in court?
I know. I'll go right to court and say exactly what happened.
Not gonna lie, this is the kind of thing I could so see Phoenix Wright handling this in a future case.
I mean, it does involve with dads and the dream world, so why not?
I mean, it's not like it can't get any weirder than talking with.
Can you imagine Maya channeling Freddy Krueger?
I mean, hey, she's.
Um,
Yeah, I could see that happening. I mean, she's channeled Dahlia, so why
Yeah, I
not?
was gonna say, she already channeled Dahlia.
I'm not gonna, me and Joba will remain silent. We'll
Well,
exercise
you-
our right
I'm
to
not sure about
remain
Jo-
silent.
I'm not sure about Jova though.
She could just go fall asleep in a courtroom.
Yeah. The judge will be banging on this guy will say, "Wake the fuck up!"
You probably could have saved her. I don't think so, dude.
That's the
Yeah.
guilt talking.
It's like you know what this is to me
What?
as a Brit. There was a show around here called Crime Watch, and every time an episode of that show ended, one of the presenters would say, "Don't have nightmares." In this case, it would be, "Don't have nightmares. In fact, don't go to sleep." Hell, there's even something like that in a comedy show around here called Mock the Week, where one of the jokes was like, "Don't have nightmares. In fact, don't go to sleep at all, in case somebody comes in and murders you."
Yes, I don't think you did it, which is why I'm about to leave looking scared, because that will definitely not give the wrong impression.
Well,
Poor
to be
bastard.
fair, all things she's been considered, I don't think anyone would be surprised if she looks scared.
Oh
And-
yeah, another thing. Oh, here we go. That's the scene that Pedro was talking about. The other more iconic.
Yes, the bathtub scene.
Always in a horror movie.
Why does she have a pillow? Like, I'm
It's
guessing
a thing that
because
some people
she-
have.
She fears that she may fall asleep in the tub. Maybe that's for
So
that.
why are you lying down like that?
It's probably for support because if you've ever laid down in a bath, it's not very good for your neck.
Yeah.
Some tubs are structured to have a more, recline. Also, that's that shot.
Oh,
I could-
wow. He really
I
does
could
have
make
a
a- I
sense of
could-
humor.
I could make a really dirty joke right now, but I'm
Well,
not going
Freddy's
to.
already doing it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oop.
Oh,
Yeah. That's some PSA for you.
Well, that's the thing too. Usually, when it comes to these things, I like to do kind of like what the Nostalgia Critic did in his He-Man and She-Ra Christmas review. I'm gonna make a counter of the dirty jokes I could have made.
If you don't make it,
so
don't
now
make
at
it,
one.
don't make it a money jar. Otherwise, you'll be the richest person on Earth by the end.
Well, yeah.
Like what I did last year when we did Woman in Black.
So where were we?
Oh.
80s.
Again, do not go to sleep. I guess that explains.
This is why you should not listen to your demonic
Siri.
cat.
Siri, is this why you say you're a night owl? Siri?
Shira is not here right now. Please leave a message.
No,
after
I'm
the
here.
beep, beep.
No, I was gonna say, Siri, is this why you don't go to sleep till very, very early in the morning because you're afraid Freddy Krueger will come and kill you?
Nah.
Why is there smoke coming out of the tub, Dweebs?
That's steam.
No, that isn't smoke. It's steam because it's hot water, you see.
But doesn't shower already create that much condensation?
She accidentally turned the shower on.
Actually, if the bathtub's hot enough, it can create that much
Although that
condensation.
would mean, Jova, that her pressure should be terrible. Her blood pressure should be terrible as a result.
How
Because
about this?
immersing yourself in very hot water is not good for you.
How about this, Shira? We'll compromise. Back in the 80s, condensation worked differently.
Well, okay, Jova, for a long period of time.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, otherwise,
Stay
otherwise,
awake,
then
that's
hot tubs
acting.
would be automatically bad for you.
Well, or thermal, hot springs, thermal baths.
Kind of like how back in the 1940s, logic worked differently.
Because that's clearly the movie that you should see to
Yeah,
stay
what's your
awake.
bloody horror movie?
I
Well,
forgot
Well,
I
that's
mean-
probably a
specific
good
movie
idea
it is.
because it'll scare her into not sleeping.
This is an
Yeah.
old one. I think it's that one. I think it's probably one of the early 1920s movies.
Unfortunately, I'm not one of those people who research the classic horrors like Romero, Fulci, and stuff like that. So unfortunately, I cannot spot if it was one. Though I do have respect for those who go out of their way to search for them, like Thedos.
Hey, Glenn.
Jova, as the American in the group, are all your upstairs windows this easy to climb up into?
Maybe back in the day. Nowadays, not so much since it's
Well,
often the
I know
windscreen.
from what I've seen, Jova, aside from the joke about the doors being really easy to break in, I've
The
seen that the
ladder.
windows. I've seen that the windows have absolutely no other form of protection. Like they're just a window and maybe a curtain inside the room to cover them. I don't know if it values for all of Europe, Jova, but here, at least in my country, we have a second system that basically closes down. I forgot what specific term is in English, so I'm gonna search it in the meantime.
That's a good point, Sheroy. 1980s American suburban. There you go.
Nah, that sounds preposterous. I mean, okay, I
There
have
you go, a roller shutter.
Yes, I do. He's played by Roger Jackson.
Basically, Jova, we have, at least in my country, we have these all over the place for our windows.
Same.
Huh, interesting. We sort of have something like that.
Basically, if someone wants to rob our houses, they need to get good real fast.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you not to mention if you try to break this, it will probably make a lot of noise, so it's not a good idea.
It's also a bit practical for those who can't stand the morning light. I know that curtains have the same function, but this one gives the extra layer. Nothing like having a stroll through the night in your pajama.
Don't sleepwalk.
No, Dreams, that's another movie, Sleepwalkers.
Yes.
It's a Stephen King adaptation.
Was that the one with Morgan Freeman in it?
Nope, that's Dreamcatcher.
Oh, yes.
That was Stephen King too, wasn't it?
Also,
Yes.
Jova, that's not Morgan Freeman, that's a pair of eyebrows with Morgan Freeman attached to them.
And
Seriously.
freckles.
How does he manage to make them grow so much?
I mean,
Because
could have
every
been
time-
worse. He could have had dreadlocks and we'd have got Ben-Hur.
Because every time I show up and explain something, I earn a freckle.
Ding!
So yeah, another thing that I was trying to say before, one of the things that this movie also introduced for the slasher movie is that aside maybe from your protagonist, and even then it's not completely guaranteed, no one is completely safe from the killer. Potentially important supporting characters can die at any moment, noticed. Even on a narrative point of view, almost anticlimactic in some kind of ways, which, depending on the context of the movie, or in some cases some of the tying comic book material, may be a bit disappointing. But unfortunately, it depends on what the movie is and what the story is trying to tell.
Well, the dog's
It's only used for effect, Shiri.
Always listen to the dog in a horror movie.
Fifth
Because dog love to detect evil.
Who needs a crucifix when you have a dog?
Also, lady,
Well,
you shouldn't
dogs
go
can detect
barefoot
the
in
evil,
the
sure.
middle
They
of the
can't
road.
necessarily repel it.
Sorry, you were saying to you?
No, this girl is going full Rapunzel by going around barefoot in the middle of the city.
in her pajamas, more even.
Especially with all the broken glass around from
It's
the
funny
windows.
because wearing pajamas out in public is becoming quite the trend these days.
Oh, looks like Freddy wants to be a visitor. Not just that, Joe, we also had a challenge, at least 1 or 2 years ago, I think, where if you went to do to go shopping in a specific mall where I live in Milan in your pajama, they gave you free breakfast. Oh well, guess it was nothing.
Huh.
Hello, still dead. Oh, charming. Oh.
Nancy, could you help me here? I kind of just threw up all
See,
over
that wasn't
myself.
so... Yeah, like, basically, that wasn't so bad because it's dark enough, whereas...
Okay.
And it wasn't even a particularly scary thing, but, like, the slugs coming out of Ron's mouth in Harry Potter was just disgusting.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna look at that.
Again, Freddy is a hunter, and as such, he prefers to play with his prey instead of going for the kill immediately.
He seems like he likes to have fun.
Oh, great! Now we're doing
Aw,
we're
man,
doing
don't
the
you
thing.
just hate it when stairs turn into goo on you?
Oh, it happened. It happened with the fifth character in the Dungeons and Dragons movie with the carpet. This is why you roll for perception, guys.
I will never understand people who go clearly upstairs in the time of emergency.
Boo!
Timing, Freddy, timing.
Also, bad touch.
I mean, it's no worse than him in the bath.
Teo, I'm a killer. Bad touch is kind of my thing.
At least for this
sleeping
original
position?
series, let's just say that they went on a more delicate angle. The remake tries to be super edgy by saying, "Oh, don't you see? He was also a child molester." Like, that's so stupid. And here we go.
Rise and shine!
You see, kids, this is why you should set your alarm clock regularly.
Yeah. In case someone tries to murder you in your sleep, set your alarm clock.
Well, excuse me. I mean,
Dang. Poor Glenn.
Whoop. This poor mother. So you also may have noticed something. Freddy for now is targeting just a bunch of teenagers. Why is he not going against anyone else? Well, there's a reason for it.
A
Are
mystery.
teenagers more fun to fuck with?
Their imaginations aren't as creative.
No, this is not a never-ending story.
Although it's funny considering what a sequel suggests.
That would be a twist. Fred Krueger is instead the reincarnation of the Mork.
Because they Freddy Krueger was Jack Black.
No, please. I'm
Let's
talking about the
tr-
good.
You
Never
took the
knew
night
Star
shifts.
movie.
You took the night shifts. You could get some peace and quiet. Well, how is taking her to the cell not disrupting that? I mean, are you so late that you can't even walk?
It's literally like 2 steps, and then you can get back to your coffee and shit. Not to mention, you're bound to know that occasionally you will get like those 1 or 2 nights where bad things happen. Come on, it's part of your job to serve and protect. So do your fucking job.
Yeah,
This
like
is
the night
recent,
shift,
are we not?
like the night shifts for police around here in Britain during late weekend nights.
Oh boy,
And Halloween and all that stuff.
Oh, isn't that lovely?
he's very considerate here. He tries to protect me from the cold. Another thing that's relatively important, but is going to be play a bit more part in the next movies, is that time flows differently in the dream dimension. Things that happen for a long time in the real world may happen like for a couple of seconds or minutes at best.
Oh boy.
What's wrong? I thought you like to hang out.
Dead.
I like how this actress, she shows a lot of emotions in some scenes, and then her face reverts right back to
Kristen Stewart mode. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me check how old she was around the time of this movie.
There's no middle ground with her. She's either really emotional or just not at all.
She was born in 1964, so around this movie was 20.
That is nice, Teo. But there is a much more important question. Dwips question.
Yeah?
If there's been a hanging, was the person hanged or was the person hung? Never could get that straight.
The person is dead, so it doesn't really
Wait, Bill Murray, is that you?
How pragmatic.
That doesn't answer my question at all. Shiro, the other Brett here, has the person been hanged or hung?
I think they were hung.
Is that like a trick question or something? Like the answer changes from time to time?
No, it's a confusion in verb tenses.
No, I know, but usually it's done to trick the person.
It might be hanged, actually, because they say this person hung themselves. They were hanged. It might actually be hanged.
Let me check the actress what she did after this.
She did actually a lot. She was obviously in the. Let's just say that she comes back in the series, not spoiling too much what she does. She
hold on,
was.
Teo. Really bad dresses. There you go.
Yep, definitely. I think of the
Also,
80s.
that is not funeral attire.
Nope.
No, not at all.
She was in. She was as a
was an
cameo
extra
role in
in-
Hellraiser Judgment.
She's
Why?
also an extra in a couple of Francis Ford Coppola films, The Outside.
Lives. She was in Star Trek Into Darkness. Aren't you so happy?
This begs the
Eh.
question, though,
I
Shiro.
mean, there's worse Star Trek films.
Yes, Peter?
What is the worst dress? Nancy's dress in this scene or Jodie's dress in that one chapter of Beyond Two Souls?
Which one actually?
The one where she's still a teenager and she's gonna go to a birthday party.
Oh, the goth. The
No,
time.
that's definitely worse.
No, you're thinking of something else.
I'll tell you why it's worse, because the dress that Jodie's wearing looks like it's a child's dress. Whereas this dress might not be great, it's at least age appropriate.
Oh, nowadays she also works.
There you
in
go,
the
there you go,
cosmetics
Pedro. I
industry.
think this guy won. He's Charles Fleischer, Dr.
Let me
King.
see.
Nowadays, she's working in the makeup industry for films. Doing stuff for like Dawn of the Dead, Evan Almighty, even.
Yeah, you're right. I think it is. Yeah.
So what's happening now? Do they think she's crazy, or?
No, they're monitoring her just to be sure. Here's my paycheck.
That'll be $50,000.
It's like Dan Aykroyd in Casper when he just runs towards the camera.
Yeah. What are you gonna call someone else? Oh, this
Probably the
Sony
best
could be high.
cameo in that
Yeah,
movie.
you were talking about Beyond Two Souls, Pedro.
Where's Willem Dafoe?
Sorry, Dweebs, you're getting Roger Rabbit's voice actor instead.
I haven't seen Roger Rabbit, so
You
Really?
didn't?
no.
Really?
Oh,
Yes.
God. You know, Dwebs, I thought you were
You're
supposed to be
missing.
the film
Honestly,
buff
Dweebs,
out
you're
of this
missing
all.
out.
Yeah.
Just
It's a fun movie.
for a cultural purpose alone.
Who Framed Roger
Roger
Rabbit is one of the
Rabbit.
greatest crossovers ever.
Java, I have 2 words. I have a 2-word response to that.
Don't care.
Time and budget.
That's free
That's
words.
free words, Dwebs.
Potentially 4.
Come on, Dwebs. Don't tell me you're applying for Microsoft
You-
now.
You get an F at math.
Oh no! Seriously?
What?
No, I was checking Charles Fleischer's career. Apparently, he replaced Bob Hoskins as Boris' voice in the Balto sequels. What a shame.
Huh. It's funny because he also starred alongside Bob Hoskins in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
I guess that was the logic they got for it.
You know what's weird, Theo? For who they got to play Balto in the sequel?
Yeah.
Maurice LaMarche of all people.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, and Rob Paulson was in there at some point as well.
Oh,
Alright,
they
let
also
me
got
guess,
Mark
because-
Hamill to
Uh,
play the bad
Some
guy.
activity's happening.
Just look at the pretty numbers on the screen and make sense of it.
Nah, I was just about to ask, like, is nothing gonna happen because they're watching her? But never mind.
No, Freddy doesn't really care. I just say that if there are ways to circumvent
The
his
numbers on the
power,
screen
or
are
like
going crazy.
he gets monitored, I just say that he's gonna try something else to go around them.
Quick, call an exorcist.
Wrong franchise.
The power of science compels you.
Wrong franchise.
Damn it.
Well,
Here's a
is
huge
she-
injection of morphine. Oh wait.
Is she Storm now? Her hair dyes a bit.
Do you believe me now?
No.
Then how do you explain cuts like that?
No,
her better side of my dives.
Uh-oh.
I got a joke.
Hey,
It's
look,
like
she
in
got a
Freddy-
hat from her dream. I had a dream with
Yeah.
Freddy Krueger, and all I got was this
That's
lousy
also
hat.
your other major reveal. Like, potentially stuff from the dream world, similar to your wounds and scars, can be brought to the real world.
Which begs the,
Oh my
which begs
God.
the question: how the hell does that work?
More
Well,
like, yeah,
Pedro, we
yeah,
gotta figure out
one
more about
thing,
how the
that
dream
the
world
movie
works
is
in
kind of
this.
lack is a establishment in the laws of physics for the real world dream world, in terms of why do stuff can come and go like that. They try something like that around the 5th or 6th movie, and it's stupid. I just say that.
Yeah.
Imagine, though, if I had a dream about the PlayStation 5, I could essentially bring the PlayStation 5 in and patent the heck out of it.
Then, Jova, you will be the kid that had the PS5 in his garage all along.
Exactly.
Hold on, let me try my best Mark Cerny impression. But you see, Jova, I wanted to create a console that would use a solid-state drive to minimize load times because it allows for gamers to experience more of the game in a more functional way.
So you made it so that you could literally pull it from one's dreams like you're Freddy Krueger?
Maybe.
You know, if the technology does exist, can you
Oh,
just
pay
imagine?
attention for a finger here, I think.
Oh? Unless I
Yes,
just became a
Mom.
magician overnight, which...
Mom, look at my chipmunk teeth. Can't you see I'm being serious? This is my serious, emotionless face.
No.
No, Mom. Just no.
By the way, apparently this is not like not in this take, but Nancy's actress reported that in trying to do the take, she got slapped real hard.
Whoops. Uh-uh.
Jesus.
Mother's not being very convincing.
I am
Nope.
very distraught by the. I am
It's
very angry
almost
about this, Mom.
It's almost as if there is a secret.
There's such a huge disparity.
Wait,
between
I know. Wait. I know this one. The people of Maine knew about this killer psycho clown who has to secretly get children every now and then, and that's why they walk ahead into their. Oh wait, wrong story.
Java,
this
this
isn't
is
in
not
Maine.
this is not set in Maine.
No.
True.
There's
Yeah.
Actually,
yeah,
this as far as locations go, this is pretty original. Springwood, Ohio.
Huh. That
But
is
yeah,
quite
that's
something different.
But yeah, there's such a huge disparity between her voice and her facial expression. So,
I know. That's exactly what I was trying to say.
It's like one of those comparisons: my face versus my soul.
it's as for the fake cut thing, Jova, maybe it's like in Fair Fencer F, where according to Tiara, apparently you can fake a cut somehow.
Is this going to be one of those movies where by the end of it, like I know we're already halfway through it by this point, but by the end of it, we're questioning why people
More than that.
continue to live and move there?
More than halfway, actually, Shirei. We're only like 30 minutes off. So.
It's like Midsummer Murders. Why are you people still living here?
I was going to say, it's like bloody Midsummer.
Well, let's just say that there is a reason for
Holy
why
shit, she smiled.
let's just say that the reason why Freddy is doing
For like a
this.
second.
There you go. And why moving away wouldn't change much.
Mm-hmm.
He has a tab on all of these specific people.
Think about it. It's considering where Freddy operates. I'm pretty sure the location is irrelevant.
Yeah, I mean,
love-
he literally operates in your dreams. I don't think moving would really do that much.
I love that line that she just said. I'm into survival. I'm into survival. You know, guys.
Lady, if you haven't beaten Resident Evil 4 at maximum difficulty, you're not into survival.
Ain't
Get
that
good.
the truth?
Not just that too. Like taking away that possible video game content, which didn't really exist at this point in time.
I know.
Like I'm into survival. I'm not really so much into dying. I'm more about surviving. I don't really care much for the whole, dying thing. It's not my thing. Are you into survival, Shiroi?
I'm more
Mom, are
of a
you
platform
okay?
guy myself.
Mom,
Yes,
for the last time, I'm into survival.
Let me guess, her mom's Freddy Krueger.
No, Dweebs. We don't have these kind of stupid twists in this movie.
Or maybe she sets Freddy Krueger on her every night because she never wanted her daughter.
You're no daughter of mine.
A furnace.
So I'm gonna kill you. Is that the furthest where Veruca Salt fell down in the original Wonka movie?
Jesus, no, Dweebs.
Actually, no, it was the garbage chute she got sent to, not the furnace, I think. It was 50.
Yeah, it was the garbage. Well, the garbage chute did lead to the furnace, so.
I'm so shocked by this.
So, it turns out back in the day, Freddy Krueger was this mysterious child murderer. Nobody knew who it was, though.
Yeah.
It drove them crazy.
Let's just say that they tried to,
Wait.
bring him to court, but they went full Ace Attorney and he managed to get away.
That's the thing too. The subtitles on our copy said, because I had them on. The minutes at the month said the lawyers got fat. Lawyers got fat. How?
Yeah,
how
that's
is-
a
how-
that's a saying for that they got rich off of it.
Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah,
I wasn't
yeah, it
aware of
is.
this. It's just I don't know.
Hey, some
The lawyer-
sayings may not
I'm
make
sorry,
as much
honey,
sense
no.
in other places.
I'm sorry, honey. The lawyers got fat and they couldn't really bother to, go to
Basically, though, what happened is like, well, the parents kind of took it upon themselves to see that justice was doled out. So they killed him.
I get it. It's just that it's a weird expression.
Basically, the town decided to take justice in their own way.
So they became vigilantes.
So
Pretty
Freddy
much.
decided to take it out
They thought that it was too much of a menace. So Freddy decided as revenge to, well, in the classic curse tradition, to be vengeful against their heritage, their children.
Just like old times, killing the children.
Though in this case, it's not really like just the firstborn.
If Shyamalan was writing this tale, he probably would have a plot twist where it turns out Freddy Krueger was actually all of these kids' parents trying to make sure their kids stay on the straight and narrow.
Just like the goddamn village. Funny enough, the movie that started his downward trend in public eye. Oh, you think that's bad, honey? Just wait till Friday the 13th.
I checked Guinness. I think you mean the Guinness World Records book?
It was called Guinness back in the day.
Plus there's Guinness alcohol.
Please, why do you have to think about alcohol beverages all the time?
I drank some Guinness, and Guinness showed me what the answer.
Got a Guinness World Record for drinking the most Guinness.
Well, of course.
I developed.
I want to see if that's a thing,
Still.
though.
It probably is.
Whoever that was probably suffered from liver failure.
Aww, famous last words in a horror movie.
But they're not asleep.
Cold cocking.
You make it sound so
they
easy.
have a plan this time around. I mean, it sounds insane, but it's the best shot we have.
I love how she literally called out his archetype. You're the jock. You should have a baseball bat in there.
Actually, it was more so Rod that was the jock. Glenn's more like the skinny boyfriend counterpart.
No, I gotta have another theory. If we're going by
Also, that's a very thin shirt that you're having. Like, leaves part of your belly open like that.
We mentioned Willy Wonka and the furnace. What if like Grandpa Joe was Freddy Krueger? Because he's a massive dickhead. So
Nancy, I'm getting really offended by your stereotyping.
Don't do drugs, kids.
Bill's here.
Did we mention that this was done in the middle of the Ronald Reagan War Against Drugs era?
Aren't these like sleeping tablets, though, or something?
They still can be dangerous if assumed in huge quantities.
Drugs.
Which are good, which are bad.
Is that from that cartoon All Stars to the Rest?
No, it's a PSA that was back in the 80s for drugs. Drugs. Which are good, which are bad. Ask your mama, ask your dad.
Just imagine actually go to sleep at midnight. You're not Morgana. Go away.
I can imagine one of the alternate endings for Persona 5 being him getting so fed up with Morgana saying that he hits him with a baseball bat, and every time he hits him, he's like, "Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep."
Yeah, that's
Morgana prefer to use a gun.
Yeah, that's nice, Mom, but I'm trying to sleep here, so if you don't mind, thank you.
How many mugs did you use? That's wasteful.
Well, it was Thomas the Tank Engine pillow for a second.
Maybe that's the twist. Freddy Krueger is in reality Thomas. It's coming to you all. Dun 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 dun.
I think Thomas the Tank Engine, the TV show, started that same year, actually, 1984.
Imagine when you have to eat, like, you have to drink coffee hiddenly
You know,
while
this
pretending
reminds.
to sleep.
You know what's funny? Mention that here. There's a very, very, very keen Justice League, the animated series episode that involves a villain that revolves around sleep. And Batman, being the only one who stays up late at night, has to do everything in his power to stay awake. So what does he do? He goes to an espresso, gets coffee, pumps himself pretty much full of it, and plays high top happy music in the Batmobile just to keep himself awake.
There you go, see, Teo, that's one of the typical type of shots that I was talking about. There you go,
Yeah.
there you go, horny 12-year-olds. There's your that. Take a look at that.
There was no reason for her to change a tire ever for that.
Yeah.
Also, is that John Candy?
Yeah, I found it. It was 1984, same year this song came out in Britain.
Basically, it would be like something like that. Oh, look, guys, we just saw that was her naked back. Oh.
What the hell are you staring at, mate?
I think she's a bad influence on him. Next thing we know, he'll probably end up dead like a teen in a horror movie.
This is a horror movie, dear.
What are you talking about? That's just ridiculous.
Seriously, Wes Craven's over there saying, Wowie, what the fuck are you doing?
Don't break the immersion, honey.
We're filming.
I know this is a prequel to Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
That may actually be an interesting
Speaking, it
movie.
is Leaves. Again, not spoiling too much for that movie. That in universe in that movie, this what you're watching now is a movie.
Ah, so it's like Digimon Tamers 8 years early.
A bit. Think of it more like the Human Centipede 2.
That guy must be a really heavy sleeper. He's able to sleep with a TV on top of his balls. Like
No, it's like Patrick. Loud noises won't disturb him, but being quiet does.
I get that, but I get that, but even with a TV on top of your crotch.
I guess he got used to it.
No, he was trying to invent the Teletubbies, but got it wrong.
Wouldn't that hurt after a bit?
Also, Teo, no thanks. The human centipede was enough for me.
Yes. No, don't watch the sequel. It's worse, believe me.
In the gross out or
It's
just in being a bad movie?
Both.
Also, Shiro, you just made a South Park slip. It's the human centipede. Centipede.
No,
is the South Park parody.
Pedro, I know what I said.
Oh. Well, Shiro, that's what you get for accepting the terms of agreement from Apple.
True that. That's just asking for trouble.
Oh, maybe it's him.
Glenn? Boy played by Johnny Depp, who probably won't be in anything big?
Maybe it's just a broken line.
Now it's literally broken. Now, what kind of lady goes to have creepy masks in her room?
Oh, but I thought she disconnected the phone.
Dun dun dun.
Hello, this is Supernatural Anonymous calling.
Hi. Do you know where
Also, what group is that poster in the background? I don't know. Yeah. Just answer the damn thing.
I love this kind of music for horror movies.
Yeah. And most quotable line for the movie.
What was the line, sorry?
I'm your boyfriend now, Nancy. Blah.
Aw, he licked her. How cute.
Ew.
There's nothing cute about that.
Yeah, about that.
One other thing that Fred is obsessed with, tongue.
So he's a fan of Kiss then?
Which Kiss? The TV channel?
No, the band Dwarves.
Oh. Well, there is a Kiss TV channel.
I know.
No, well, not necessarily. Maybe he's just a fan of Kiss, and by that I mean you keep on shouting, I wanna rock and roll. Actually, yeah, Kiss
The
was
most
actually at the peak of
patriotic
their
way to go to sleep.
That's again, I still can't get over the fact that he literally has a fucking TV crushing his penis.
I
Maybe
guess.
maybe that's what he used to hide his morning boners.
It's like,
Oh
Hello, goodbye,
Like-
Johnny Depp.
no, Johnny, no!
guys, it's like I said earlier. he was
Oh
trying
no,
to
he
invent-
took the TV with him.
It's like I said earlier. He was trying to invent the Teletubbies, but got screwed up,
Oh,
and that's the result.
That's gonna leave a messy room.
well, I'm not cleaning that
But
up.
the TV, guys, he took the TV with him.
Don't worry, Johnny Depp would reincarnate himself.
It's
and,
okay. It's okay, Joe. Remember, TV rots your brain anyway.
Oh, and this
Of
is
course.
happening in the real world too. What a lovely
Don't worry.
thing for a mother to find.
Don't worry, guys. He'll reincarnate and come back in 21.
Holy
Jump
shit!
Street.
My son just exploded.
So don't worry, guys. He'll come back in 21 Jump Street, the TV series.
Guys, what exactly? Hold on. What exactly are the paramedics supposed
Yeah,
to pick
it's
up?
like the guy
yeah,
said.
Yeah, more. What body is there? Like I know it needs probably routine and everything, but come on.
I love how one of the
Pieces
guys
fall
said,
back
"You won't
together."
need a stretcher. You're gonna need a mop."
Yeah.
We'll piece it back together.
Don't worry, everybody. We're here. Okay, pick up the body. Where's the body? I don't know. It must be
We're just the
somewhere.
police in a teenager horror movie. We're completely useless.
Robert Englund was in The Batman.
Oh, I forgot to mention about probably the other most important actor here, John Saxon, as the guy that you saw, the video seeing here.
Nancy's
Lieutenant Colonel
father.
Thompson. Yeah, he has a very extensive career because he's let's just say that he's an actor from the old school. He has been almost in all the years of cinema. Well, at least from let's just say post-war.
Nancy, has my wife gone insane again and barred the house?
Drunk. Everybody's dead, Nancy.
So let me get this straight. Your boyfriend just died, and this is when you bust out your smiling face. I think this girl needed some acting lessons.
That doesn't look like a smiling face. That looks more like a.
I mean, right now. I mean, like before the shot before this.
Oh, well, even that didn't look like a
Now she's
smiling
there,
face.
there you go. Now she's angry, but earlier during the first shot, she seemed like she was kind of smiling.
I think
but
that was
performance
just the
has been
play of the
really-
light on her.
I gotta say, her performance has been pretty ropey in this movie. At times she nails it, and other times she just doesn't.
This was like her second major visual acting role, I think. Let me check. Oh, no, actually, it was the fourth. But she did start at the previous year as an extra in deleted scenes, apparently, as well. For The Outsiders and Rumblefish. I have no idea what those two things are. either.
Rumblefish.
Rumblefish was a Coppola movie.
Oh, it's a Francis Ford Coppola movie. Huh.
So what
Her
is
first
it?
major role was the same year as this one in a movie called Nickel Mountain. So now it's time to prepare for war.
Of course, you
What do you
realize
mean?
this
is the
means
montage.
war.
This is my house. I must defend it.
You see,
John
what-
Williams Home Alone theme.
Yeah, what if- What if Home Alone was
Yeah, it really is.
hardcore?
Like,
Yeah, so she's actually preparing a sort of grenade with a light bulb.
This should be interesting. Well, I'll give her this. She's very handy.
Yeah,
This is
and
my
thi-
house.
and
I
this
have
give
to defend it.
and this gives her also an excuse to stay
Oh, well.
awake.
I've already made that joke, Liz.
I
Yeah.
don't think I was here for that.
There we go.
Boy, you better hope your mom doesn't come in while she's coked out of her mind. Otherwise, that may leave a mess.
What the fuck is he doing? Yeah. You're not. I'm not cleaning that either.
A shark. Oh wait, no, there's no sharks on land.
Sorry, Drova. That means we can't close the shows on the CD. We need the tourist season.
God damn it!
So-
But the lives at stake.
Should I get the sewing kit, sir, and sew his body back together?
Yeah, you think? You moron?
Yes.
You did a bang up job.
Yeah.
It's your gift to not be a screaming damsel of distress in this movie. You're actually the hero. Take my
Well,
booze.
palms up.
There you go.
Or maybe not.
Or not, yeah. For a moment there, I thought they were going to have the first ever mom and daughter sharing alcohol scene, God of War style.
Mom and daughter of war.
Well, technically, there's a character in the new God of War that kind of would count as that.
It's a good thing he's not after the parents too, so the mother can get a nice night's sleep. It's personal now.
And the paramedics are like, well, easiest job ever.
Well, let's see. What do we blame it on? Someone wielding a hacksaw? No, there would have been more pieces left.
It's because of D&D.
Yeah,
Clearly, it makes the people satanic.
Wes Craven's most famous movie up till this, well, before this was The Hills Have Eyes, and he also directed the sequel.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
One of them at least.
Is it
Maybe you should
another
also-
horror movie?
Was there a Hills Have Eyes 3?
I don't remember.
Hey Nancy,
no,
you
no,
might.
it wasn't. That was just it.
Hey Nancy, consider bringing in some holy water while you're at it.
That might be a bit too much.
That face.
Yeah, it wasn't
she
Giddy
doesn't
Fox.
Honestly, she doesn't look determined. She's just a little fed up.
Well, I guess either works of the scenario. I guess I'd be a bit fed up if a dead killer was taking revenge on me for what my parents did and killed all my friends.
Oh yeah, it's personal.
Da 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 da. You know, actually, that makes me wonder. The Terminator versus Freddy Krueger.
I'm pretty sure the Terminator will win. Remember, Freddy has the power of Dream World and everything, but physically wise, he has his limits.
The RoboCop versus Terminator crossover idea makes more sense than that.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
It's a comic, actually.
Yes.
I have read a couple of issues of it, but not entirely. I especially love it because he's actually drawn by my favorite comic book artist, Walter Simonson.
Ooh, nice choice.
David Perry's team also made a video game of it.
Yep.
Well, they made a video game based off of a comic. Ain't that cute?
It was back when Joey was more common than you think.
Yeah, it was more common than making it based off of the movies or the shows.
More like licensing products were all over the place for everything.
Comic book movies back in the 90s were kind of seen as like a very usually bad thing, like in general. I mean,
well, it's not like they were seen as a bad thing. It's that they were kind of a bad thing. Well, okay, maybe not so much in the 90s, but more so near the end of the 90s. Oh boy.
Get it? It's like she's descending to hell.
Charming.
Symbolic. Jeez, someone called the Mario Brothers because the pipe work in this place is a shit show.
Yeah.
Sorry, Teo. Unfortunately, we were only able to contact the live-action incarnations.
Well, they're plumbers still.
bomb. Yeah, I'm sure he's gonna pay attention to you like that. Now. In fact, imagine Neil Breen versus Freddy Krueger. Though it would probably be one-sided in favor of Neil Breen.
Remember, being God, obviously Neil Breen will just have to wave his hand and make Neil Breen.
Now that's just not right. Whoop. Oh, look at that, the crucifix. Hello.
I'm everywhere and nowhere.
Sounds like a riddle.
Well, I was the Riddler. Well, I will be the Riddler at some point.
Well, you know.
Look up my Wikipedia or IMDb page.
Okay, I'll do just that.
What's a Wikipedia?
Shh, don't let him know I'm on to him.
This looks familiar.
Oh yeah, this is 1984. Don't you see, guys? This takes place in the future. Okay.
Well, I'm not gonna go. Never mind.
You asked.
You asked for it.
That's right. Follow me.
Okay, she's dead. Oh.
Nope, just as she planned. She had a nice little soft bed added.
Well, don't go walking back in.
We know you're here because we can hear the music.
All right, you son of a bitch! Let's tussle! Huh.
Okay.
Okay, nice dream.
Well, that was Nightmare on Elm Street. What are your thoughts, guys?
Bit anticlimactic. Good build-up, but anticlimactic.
Boop.
Oh, that was
Nah, he's
just
just fucking with you.
It was a dream within a dream.
Warm.
Come on, come on.
All my own tricks, don't fail me now.
Oh, I got it. Home Alone was a kids remake of this movie. You're in the wrong house, asshole.
Good use of an umbrella.
Boop.
I was aiming for the head.
Bonk, bonk.
But he just like trips.
You know, you look kind of silly when that happens to you, not gonna lie. Come on, Freddy. Come on.
You're talking to me, the guy with the,
Boop.
Yes, the guy with a grenade rocketing his ass. I can only keep him off so comedically for so long.
You're telling me you didn't see that through the window, guys? You were looking.
Shiro, this is a teenage horror movie. Adults are stupid.
Oh, right. Can we throw him in the furnace?
Boop.
Ah, the
You know, in
power of
terms of-
Christ compels you? I don't know.
I'm sorry, guys, but in terms of stuff about children with adults not being useless, we have to wait for the weekenders for that.
He's resilient.
Oof. I love how in the climax, Freddy gets defeated most of the time by clumsiness.
You know what they say.
And stairs.
You know what they say, Tio. Laughter can be a powerful
so many
weapon.
Stairs. I wish I could find you at these stairs and pushing down these stairs. So finally someone tries to do something. You guys have a
Why
gun.
doesn't your teenager have house keys?
Let me guess, Freddy's not there.
What do
Well,
you
we'll see.
think? Footprints! Evidence! My God, I'm not crazy!
Made out of fire.
I just imagine how the stuff had to set
Oh,
every single
he's
one
smothering her mother.
of them. Oof. Ta-da! See you.
Yeah, bye.
Guess he wanted to get revenge one way or another.
Yeah.
Oh, ain't that cute? He turned the bed into a disappearing coffin. I think she's
Probably that is
dead.
more confused with anything.
Well, at least the adults saw it.
Yeah, just recall for a second.
Okay, honey, how do we tell the officials about this without them committing us to the asylum? The Arkham Asylum.
Just say a crazed lunatic broke in here and killed my mom.
Without leaving the body.
Yeah.
Well, remember, it's not the first time in this movie.
At least there was blood with your boyfriend.
Yeah, with no evidence.
So, Freddy, in one last bout of desperation.
Got his last laugh.
Guess he figured if I can't kill you, I'll just take the actual woman who burned me.
Burned.
Oh.
Hello. He's literally a bad shit ghost.
Wanna bet?
Manpower, Kristen Stewart is what I need to defeat you.
I'm already dead.
Oh, snap.
And there we go. Through the sheer power of determination, that's what she needed.
I'm guessing the power that she gave him was fear.
Not just that. It's a case of I'm real as long as you believe it.
Hey, her mother's alive.
Yeah, remember, it was technically a dream, so...
Yep.
Quite a long-running dream.
Or was it? Dun dun dun.
How long have I been asleep for?
You've been asleep for 15 years.
And yet I'm still the same age, though.
Yes.
Hey,
Yes,
look,
you
Johnny
are.
Depp's alive.
It's an Inception thing where you grew old in the dream, even though you're still sleeping in the real world.
Oh, now we can all be happy-go-lucky friends. Oh. Ah, those kids.
Bye.
They're gone, Freddy.
Who says this was Nancy's dream? Yep.
What a twist.
Wait, what was the twist again?
That Freddy's still pretty much a thing. And
What?
that's it.
And we end the movie by children singing. How appropriate.
Well, that's me out. I'm switching this off. Children singing as a...
Don't worry, dudes, we have the power of the 80s. What?
in a horror movie.
Pedro?
What is it?
Oh no, you sounded weird for a second. Anyway, final thoughts. I'll start, might as well. Yeah, this is a classic. It's a product, maybe a product for its time, and there are some things that probably haven't aged too spectacular nowadays. And there's the fact that it has some minor things that were specifically for its time being, it's the difference between something that is dated and something that aged badly. In this case, it has a bit of both. But otherwise, this is an instant classic. There's a reason why it pioneered an entire subgenre of horror, of course. Everything just works for what it needs to do. It's a simple, small story that deals with the concept of the supernatural while inserting a mass murdering plot. It's not a murder mystery because you know already who's the killer. You just need to know the motivation, which you'll learn later. And this is, and you can argue, well, yeah, it is told you, but for the good news is that we're actually going to see what happened to Fred. His proper death. The bad news is that it's gonna be way later down the line, and by that point, it's kind of pointless. But otherwise, there's also the fact that her performance as Nancy is very, Kristen Stewart, like it was mentioned. So unfortunately, that also hasn't aged well. But I can tell you, she gets better over the years. So at least there's that. So yeah, like I said, solid enough. Next.
You right?
I guess.
Dibs?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, again, I'm not really much into horror film anyway. Yeah, this is good. That's all I gotta say, really. I mean, I didn't really like the main actress all that much, if I'm honest, but Freddy himself was entertaining. Yeah, that's it.
All right then.
Sorry if I thought
No, don't worry. Shiro.
What
what about... Oh, sorry.
What do you think of the practical effects?
Oh, they were good. Although I thought the 6,000 pints of blood from Johnny Depp was a bit.
Yeah, what did you think of Johnny Depp's actorial debut?
It was solid for a debut.
Okay then.
Go ahead, Shiri.
No, I was going to say you jumped in earlier before it was given to Dwib, so do you want to have a go?
Sure, I guess. No, this is like Teo said. This is a classic, pretty much. Like, there are some things that it has lost its punch a bit over the years because not only do I think there have been better horror slash movies in this, I actually particularly like Friday the 13th better than this one. It has lost its punch a bit over the years because a lot of the stuff that this movie does, has, like we've said, has become a cliche over the years. So nowadays, audiences are much more sanitized to these kinds of things in horror films. We just expect these things now, so it's much easier to see them coming, and therefore they don't pack the same punch that they did back when this movie first came out. So this movie does indeed has lost a bit of its punch, but thanks to the creative concept and the great acting outside of the main actress, it ends up still becoming a very entertaining slasher movie for what it is. The product fights are great, and I just wish they would have given this Nancy's actress some acting lessons, because her facial expressions are so inconsistent with what actually is going on around her. It can be a bit distracting sometimes. Aside from that, yeah, but it's a classic, of course. Obviously, but like I said, yeah, it is kind of a shame that it has lost kind of its punch for most of it, because again, this kind of thing is prevalent all over horror movies now, slasher horror movies. Like, so most of these tropes are very, very common and can be seen a mile away now at this point. So it's a shame, unfortunate thing, but well, you can't really do anything about it, I guess. And that's it. Go ahead, Shiri.
All right, that was actually, like, I'm sure it was quite different for the people who watched it at the time, but that was actually a lot of fun, surprisingly. Not that I expected it to be bad, I just didn't think it would be, fun. I love the music. Like,
yeah.
I know also, like, okay, modern horror movies tend to go just for a more orchestral kind of thing, I guess, but this kind of score is something I've heard in a lot of early horror video games, and I really like it. It's great. Acting.
It's a throwback to the classic horror genre, like Romero. So also those games also homage back to that as well.
Yeah, the acting from the main actress wasn't even that terrible. Like, vocally, she was fine. It's just those facial expressions that she needs to work on. Johnny Depp was fine as well for his debut. Freddy was fun.
Yeah.
Mishiro, if you like the fact that he has a sense of humor, the next couple of movies will be way better from that front.
Great.
No, I'm playing with power.
Yeah, he just essentially spends most of, like, unlike in recent years where antagonists just go straight for the killing, he spends most of this movie just fucking with them, and it's great. It's fun to watch. I really enjoyed this movie, despite the fact that, yeah, because I guess it was so successful that a lot of other movies kind of played off to become a cliche, but yeah, I could still enjoy it despite knowing that. I'm done.
Java.
Alright then, yeah. Honestly, I'd say this movie, even though it's my first time watching it, I'd say it still holds up pretty well. Like, the way it works within its budget is actually pretty good. Like, for something so cheap, they actually managed to do pretty good with the practical effects. Even something like the rubber wall actually still looks effective for how uncanny it seems here and there. Now, the ending does seem a little bit weird, like, I'm a bit confused by it, but at the end of the day, it's not too hard to get the handle of. It's definitely suspenseful, but it's not afraid to have a sense of humor, which helps. Like, if there's one thing that helps a lot with horror movies, it's when they remember to have a source of humor, because it helps make the more tense moments all the more unexpected, and thus leaving you a bit more at unease. I appreciate it. Good stuff there. For his debut, yeah, Johnny Depp does a good one. Freddy is definitely a pretty fun antagonist, and as I know from other sequels, we'll see just how much fun we can have with him. So overall, I'd say A Nightmare on Elm Street is a great movie to watch for Halloween.
All right, we'll get back another time. Who knows? Maybe at Halloween, next Halloween, maybe on another time for A Nightmare on Elm Street 2: Freddy's Revenge. Right, with another director and writer. But for the time being, Java, what's next on the menu?
Let's see. Speaking of remembering stuff, I remember a few days ago we looked at something called Zombillennium. I think there was an apocalypse. Or am I thinking of zombies in an apocalypse? By the way,
we'll
this movie did take place at a residency, and there was a lot of evil. I can't make heads or tails of it. Well, folks, you'll just have to see tomorrow.
See ya.
See ya.
See ya.